Chair Liebelt, we're ready when you are.
Christina, thank you. Hello, everyone. I will now call the June 10th, 2025 Public Arts Commission meeting to order. Please let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Ms. Christina, may we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Mojica, Commissioner Strouder,
Present.
Commissioner Marks,
Here.
Vice Chair Travis,
Here.
Chair Liebelt.
Here.
And let the record show Commissioner Mojica is absent. She did let staff know she was not able to make it this evening.
Okay, the next first item up is the opportunity for public comments. This is an
Chair, just want to make sure we have no changes to the agenda before we go.
Oh, sorry, missed the agenda. You're so
That's
right.
okay, Chair. There are no changes to the agenda this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you both for keeping me on track. Okay, so now we're ready for public comments. So this is the opportunity for members of the public to comment on any items not appearing on the regular agenda. Because of restrictions contained in California law, the Commission may not discuss or act on any item not on the agenda, but may briefly respond to statements made or ask a question for clarification. The Chairman may also request a brief response from staff to questions raised during public comment or may request a matter be agendized for a future meeting. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. Christina, do we have any?
Chair, we have no request to speak at this time.
Thank you so much. So now we're going to approve the minutes for the meeting, the last meeting, approval of the Public Arts Commission meeting as of May 13th, 2025. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes? Anybody? Are there any members of the public that wish to comment?
We have none, Chair.
Do I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Marks and a second by Vice Chair Travis. Please vote. And motion carries, all ayes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Let's see here. The agenda. The first item, if I could just take a little detour for a slight second, I was just told something by Commissioner Travis that Deanne Hopings had just passed away, former arts commissioner. And I was just so very sorry to hear that. So it was a privilege to work with her and be on and served on this commission. And so all of the support and everything that she did for this community was so just much appreciated. And I just wanted to acknowledge that. So thank you for letting me know and letting us know.
And I think we want to mention that the Ophelia Bringus Bridge was
Yes.
was kind of her big project.
Was the project,
Right,
yes.
yeah.
When I first started, and just a great chairperson and great, did so many other things for this community and was just a great example and a great inspiration. And so I'm so sorry to hear that.
So maybe we can close the meeting in her honor tonight.
Okay.
That's very sad news. I knew she had some health issues, but she was always so welcoming and just so dedicated to promoting art, especially sort of equity throughout the community. So.
Okay, so then we're going to move on to then our first agenda item, which is talking about the sculpture for Esperanza Park. We're going to talk about revising and increasing the budget. May we have an introduction, please, Ms. Ann?
Absolutely. So good evening, Chair. Good evening, Commissioners. So at our last meeting in May, we had talked about and had kind of come up with a proposed budget for the sculpture piece in for the Esperanza Park. And since that time, I've had the opportunity to do some more research and also had the opportunity to speak with the public arts coordinator for the city of Palm Desert, who's done quite a few of these. And in part of that conversation was more information than I think I had anticipated in the original budgeting of this, meaning the separation of the costs for the artist versus the costs for the city. And she educated me a little bit about, what is usually the city's responsibility in these types of projects, what's the artist type of responsibilities. And so for the artist, it really generally breaks down to the materials, the construction of the piece, transportation, travel costs, et cetera. And then the city really is on the has the responsibility of the installation, any electrical, the plaque for it, if there's any concrete work, et cetera. And so in looking at the size of the piece, and I did some research there's a website called Codex, which is a website of public art commissioned items, and they have art all over the country and all over the world, and was looking at a number of more recent commissions and kind of what the price range was, and I felt that it was probably appropriate that we up our budget to make sure that we are having, especially with the input that we had from the community about what they'd like to see, to have an appropriate level of budget to be able to achieve those ends. And so in the proposed budget that I have before you tonight, the intent of doing the RFQ will be to do out a call for artists, have the Public Arts Commission, and probably what I will suggest is somebody from our engineering department, and there may be others that you wish to include, maybe somebody from PACE, to select 3 artists. That each of those 3 artists would be given $1,000 to come up with a concept. And then from that, we would re-engage with the community to get the community's input on which concept they like best to ultimately, hopefully, award a contract. And I would love to believe that it will go this seamlessly, right? But in doing that and in talking with Palm Desert, what I'm recommending is the $3,000 budget for the stipends, the $100,000 budget for the artist, construction, transportation, et cetera, of the piece itself, and then a $50,000 for the city's costs. So that would be, any concrete, if we have to rent a crane to install it, any of those kind of things. And then just generally for capital projects, we do a contingency budget just in case there's unforeseen costs. And so what the not to exceed amount would be is $173,000. Obviously, if we don't use a contingency or the costs to the city are not as much as those will just go back and remain in that budget. But I would like to go to the council with a higher budget so that we have that authorization, so we don't have to go back to the council once they've authorized to get additional funding authorized. Looking at our current public arts collection, it's been sort of all over the place of what the costs have been for previous acquisitions. And I think the majority, or a lot of the acquisitions have been purchased pieces. We've not done much commissioned art before. So we have some that have run in the $125,000 range. For instance, the Cathedral Mountain sculpture that was done in 2006 was $125,000. The highest cost of a singular piece that the city has purchased was the Fountain of Life fountains. And so that's inclusive of the fountain, all of the little animals around it. That was $178,000 in 2006. And then the George Montgomery statue, which is a bronze, was $125,000, and that was, I'm not sure exactly what year it says that was built. And then Buddy Rogers, which was probably, I'm thinking in the same time frame, was $100,000. Most everything else has run from, a few $1,000s for smaller pieces or paintings to $20,000 to $40,000. And then the tiles, probably the most contemporary piece, other than the Ocotillo bench projects, the tile portraits that we did for the Ophelia Bringus Bridge was $50,000, and that was 2022. So my recommendation to the commission is to authorize or to approve a larger budget. And with that, I'm going to be out of town for the June council meeting, but what I will do is have this available and ready for the July whenever we meet back in July for the council's authorization, and then we can start the RFQ process.
Are we meeting back here in July?
You're not, but the council is.
Council is. So I say you're going to have it ready for that meeting, and if not,
For the July meeting for the council would be just the authorization of the budget and to just educate them on the process that we would be proposing to, do an RFP, get community input on the 3 sculptures, and then,
but if
ultimately.
we agree on this tonight, and it wouldn't, the next council meeting is June 28th,
25th.
25th?
I'm not going to be here for the June 28th meeting.
Oh, and
so
you'd
I
have to
go
be
the
there,
July.
you'd have to be there to present it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be the next one they do then is in July? Okay, got it, okay.
We have one item going to the June meeting, which is your recommendations for the grant awardees. But I have a colleague from finance that's going to be presenting that, but that's
Gotcha.
pretty straightforward. When it gets into the more complicated discussions about the art pieces and things
Got
like
it.
that, I'd like to
That
make
makes
sure that I'm
sense.
available.
That makes sense.
So that is my staff report, and I'm available for any questions that you have, Council or Commissioner.
Commissioner Stouter, Commissioner Marks, any questions?
Yeah, when you send out are we calling it call for artists or request for proposals, what part of the budget would you be announcing to them? Is it the whole budget or just what they have to work with? Or?
It would be the $100,000 for the art piece. So the $100,000 would be their art, what they get as a fee as an artist, plus the construction costs, fabrication costs, and then any transportation costs. So that would be the $100,000 for the artists, all of the artist-related costs. And then the $50,000 and the $20,000 are on the city for any of the city's direct
Okay.
costs for that.
I'm happy to see this revised budget because, as we know, it's like I'm going along in this and getting more and more input. I kept thinking realistically about so that's interesting to know what the city has spent on other previous sculptures too. So it's nice to see. Any
And I was
questions?
getting a little gun shy as I was looking at some of these other commissions and, different states in California, some pieces larger, some pieces smaller, but they were really hefty budgets. And so this, as I've looked at this piece, it's originally when I heard the dimensions, I was like, wow, that's really big. And then being out there in the park, it's like, oh, it's not that big. But I think, and especially as talking with the other coordinator in Palm Desert, she felt that, because she's at the very same time as we're doing this, she's just getting ready to launch a RFP for a roundabout piece for San Paulo Street. There's another roundabout, obviously a much bigger space, but the artist budget for that is $200,000. So she felt that just with the size of this, that this would give us some opportunity to get something that is really a nice piece, that is really reflective, that is commensurate with the other investment in the park and in that community. And so that is my recommendation.
Well, thank you for doing all that extra research, and that makes sense the way you explained it. Thank you.
Yeah, when you talk about, especially when you compare the costs based on year, how long ago some of those were. Now I look at this and I go, geez,
Yeah.
is that going to be enough? But yeah, nice job on doing the homework.
Yeah, like just hearing that, when you said about the bronzes were $125,000, did you see my jaw just go, yes, that was a while ago, because who knows like what the cost of that would be. No, I think it's a much more realistic budget. When we present this, do we, on here, we didn't talk about a timeline. So is that not part of the thing going to the approval for the city council?
No, it's just for the budget.
Okay.
By the time I get it to council, obviously for the commission, I will try to put together a proposed timeline of what the period for the call, the period for the review, the period for how we're going to give the artist to come up with a concept. And so by the meeting on the 9th, or I'm sorry, whenever we meet with the council in July, I'll try to have something rough for the commission to, I know we're not going to meet between now and then, but to just keep you informed of what that timeline could look like, and so that we can start rolling on it.
But my guess, though, is since we're not going to be meeting in July and August, that we're obviously going to have to come back together in September before we put out that call to artists. Is that correct? We're planning on putting out the call to artists before that.
I guess I'd like to get it out beforehand,
Okay.
but if not, we can wait until September. But then we're also missing probably almost a full year of like till
Do we
construction.
have to approve that?
That's, if you'd like me to bring it back, if we want to do like maybe a special meeting, if you want to do like a quick meeting to review that.
I'm not convinced that we need to. We're
Right,
not,
but
we're
it's
not
not-
writing it, right? I mean, we're not,
But about the timeline.
Well, I guess it's two questions. If the commission wants to see the RFQ before it goes out, then we'll probably need to do
Yeah.
if we do it before September, we'll need to have a special meeting. What I can do is try to get a proposed schedule together, just to kind of see how that. I'm not a construction person, so
Sure.
trying to put something realistic together. So I'm going to consult with smarter people than me, and then we can kind of look at what the time frame is, and then if we need to do just kind of maybe a brief meeting to do. Just approval of the RFQ so that we can get that rolling. That does not have to go to the council. We just need to get the budget authorization. So it's just making sure that if there's any input that you want to have into that document, that will be the opportunity.
I don't feel like it needs our,
I guess you're right, because it's just about being informed about when it is, and that way that we can reach out to people and let them know.
Oh,
So that,
100%, yeah.
If it requires a meeting or not, or if we just get a notification of that, and, yeah.
No, 100%.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Just get notification, yeah.
Commissioner Marks, same? Do you feel like we need a meeting to get together to discuss that timeline at all, or?
And I will send it out to you, obviously, just to, again, you all have sort of arts, various art pieces, so or arts backgrounds or people. So if you see something that looks just like really like this seems crazy, and you need to add more time on that. And I'll obviously be running through our public works people who do the capital projects as well to get their input, and just to make sure that we're giving the artists sufficient time, that we have sufficient time to work with the community. The other thing that we're trying to align this with is, and something that I'll report on in staff comments, is we're working on I'm going to give you an update on where we're at with the Art and Parks grant, because we have to submit it by this Friday. And one of the things that we're using as part of our match is the budget for this art piece, because we're going to be doing community engagement. We've already done engagement, and this is going to be just another effort on the city's working with the community to complete this park. And so we're trying to make sure that a lot of that aligns with the grant timeline, which is going to be in 2026. So I have to get that in my head and align that with this too, so that we can use that grant or use the funding for this as part of our match towards the grant. But I think it'll work out. I just have to sit down with it and work out the dates.
Sure. Okay.
when we send out this call for proposals, are we limited to like where artists are located, or are we like just sending a broad net out there to like attract as many?
I would probably send it out broadly. I guess I would, if you have advice on if you wanted to go nationwide or like West Coast, just in terms of the costs of transport might be an issue.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, because that'll be part of that $100,000. But we can certainly, and I'm working, one of the costs that I have as part of the city cost is through Codex, you can get a membership, and in that membership you can do unlimited amount of calls, and they can do it nationwide, they can do it worldwide, they can, I was talking to a rep from them the other day, they can break it down by, other, like if we were wanting to do like Hispanic artists, they can, help sort of identify artists in the mix. They are really well connected with a lot of fabricators and things like that. So that's going to be one of the mechanisms that I will use to advertise it, along with, our social media. There's another, and I forget the website that also does calls, and so I'll probably do something there that I want to really try to get it out in as many vehicles that really promote public art commissions and target artists that have the kind of expertise to do pieces of this scale, but certainly also advertising it to all of our local, the Desert Artists, the Perez Art District, the Joshua Tree Artists, and the different groupings in that, so to make sure that we have that adequately represented in our local arts communities.
And if we have a name we want to add to the list that's being sent to, do we just send you that contact information, or?
Yeah. 100%. When the call is ready, I will send that document out to you. And so you as commissioners can freely share that with whomever you want, wherever you want. It will, being that it's a procurement item, it will be on our city's website. It will, we will have a list of people that we will send it to. We might even have like a call, that we do with bids. Like if artists are interested in coming and, hearing more about it, we could potentially do that. So when I get that schedule sort of drafted out, I will do that. But yes, you can certainly send us any contact information to people you'd like it sent to, and we'll make sure that when the RFQ goes out initially, that we will have those included in that call. Yeah, the more the merrier. When we've done any of the bench projects or any of the other projects, I've gone through Perez Art District artists, or just going through the art organizations around me, and I have sort of a little database of groups that I've been sending things to that have been calls on behalf of this, or when Commissioner Travis has been looking for artists for the quarterly art exhibits. So we have some of that, but again, it's not necessarily targeting artists that do large-scale commissions. So, yeah.
Yeah, that becomes a rarer breed. And so for me, I guess I was thinking, not necessarily on the East Coast, but I'm thinking definitely like Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, where there's a lot of foundries and a lot of artists that work in big sculptural pieces. And because of the ethnicity of those areas too, it would be that's a great source. And then there's just a lot of great stuff out there. So fabulous. I guess, Christina, are we asking for public comments or questions at this time?
Yes, Chair, we're asking, but we have no attendees in the meeting, and I did not receive any comments for the record.
No comments? Okay. I guess, and that means that we need to make a motion, correct? Going to make a motion? So do we have, I motion that we definitely accept this recommendation as a budget for this proposed project.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Chair Liebelt and a second by Vice Chair Travis. Please vote. And motion carries, all ayes.
Okay, the next item is talking about the recommendation to accept the donation of the Craig French sculpture and recommend allocating $5,000 from the Public Art and Public Places Fund for a base. May we have an introduction, please?
Thank you, Chair. So again, this is an item that the Commission has been talking about, of accepting the proposed donated art piece by artist Craig French called Ozone. The area that the Commission is recommending that this piece be installed is in the library, and in order to have this located in a way that safely has it rised above where people could poke an eye out on it, we need to create a base for it. I've talked to Public Works. I haven't had the opportunity to really research fully what the cost of a base would be, and I know there's some desire, I think, on the library's part that it at least initially be something mobile, because within the next year, they're going to be doing a refurbishment, which is going to include new carpeting and new furniture and some other things. So my proposal is, in order to keep the conversation going with the artist, is to get authorization for the council for a budget to be able to construct a base and continue to work on the timing of being able to accept that donation and get it installed. So that is my staff report.
Great, thank you. And I spoke with Lisa, the gallery director at A Gallery in Palm Desert, and because the summer's quieter for her, I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any concern about her keeping it over the summer. And that's not, if she needed it sooner, they would accommodate that. And if it needs to go until September, they would accommodate that. But any time is fine. And the gallery closes for the month of August. Okay. But she's still around and available. You guys heard the sculptor himself with a couple of guys is willing to come and move the sculpture and bring it here. And put it on the base. So I didn't know if we needed to have the base done, because if it's not, they could move it, but then they're not going to come back probably and move it a second time. So it's like...
Well, it was 250 pounds, right? So it's not too...
It's about 250 pounds, yeah. So that's honestly, for a sculpture, that's not really... Yeah. Horrible. So, but I just felt he gave us a very reasonable quote for he himself to come, and then with a couple of guys to move it. And I thought that was very generous also on his part. The other thing I followed up with Lisa about was, does the actual patron donor want recognition? And initially they said no. And I would just like to to bring up that we do at least do a plaque acknowledging the gallery's participation, and obviously the artist's name and the gallery's participation in that. So.
And I will need, from the donor, I will need to send a donations agreement, sort of their acknowledgement that they're donating it to us, that we're willing to accept it. And then there's some language that I know our attorney had put in when we accepted the painting that's upstairs, the Val, what was it?
I forget too.
Forget it.
The one from up north.
Yeah. So we do have some paperwork that we would want to send them, because it's also with like the licensing of the art and making sure that everyone is in agreement about that. So we'll get the paperwork together as well for the person to review, because then that will we have to get the council's approval to accept it as well. So we'll get that going over the summer too.
So, and again, with the $5,000, obviously if we don't spend that much money, the rest just goes back into our fund. So not to exceed that amount is what you're proposing, eh?
That is my proposal.
Okay.
Excuse me, this space, will it be designed by Craig French, or
No.
is it just...
No, it's our engineers.
It's already what?
Our city. The city engineers
Have
are going to
somebody from
do it
Public Works
because
work on the
Okay, so-
construction or the acquisition of that.
that's more a practical thing than an aesthetic thing, because to be able to, we want to do it at a certain height to make it safe.
Okay.
And then they're talking about making it mobile, like if it has wheels, so that it can be easily moved around if for any reason, if they do need to move it. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
The perfect place is in that rotunda, and when they do the refurbishing too, we'll talk to Kristen, and hopefully we'll get to put better lighting on it too. And it just, that whole entry area needs better lighting in general. So this is a good reason for them to do it.
It's going to look really great.
Yeah. Any other questions? At this point, wait, do we have any questions from the audience regarding this?
We have none, Chair.
Okay, great. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
So do we have a motion and a second then?
I move that we, how are we going to say? Or that we accept the donation from Craig French and recommend allocating up to $5,000 for the building of a base.
I would second that.
I have a motion by Vice Chair Travis and a second by Commissioner Strouder. Please vote. And motion carries, all ayes.
It looks like we're moving quickly through our agenda, isn't it? So we're at this point now where we have staff comments. Miss Ann, anything you'd like to comment on?
I do have some updates. So as I mentioned earlier, as staff had reported out to you before, last year we had tried to get a Art in Parks grant. And this is a new grant program. It's a 3-year grant program run by the state. And initially we had applied for a planning grant and we were not successful. So we resubmitted again this year as a program grant to actually do something. And the focus of this has been Hope Rising and the focus of the grant was to do some activation at Esperanza Park. So with the park opening, really having an opportunity for some cultural activities at the park to really solidify that engagement with the community. So they had a different process this year. We sent in the application, and then just a few weeks ago, they said, okay, you've been it to round 2. Now you have to like really program this thing. Well, one of the things that we didn't have when we first started this was the Desert Recreation District. So we have Cynthia, who now is our, Cynthia Morcasio, who is our community services supervisor. And so we've been working to try to refine the 4 events that we were planning to do for this. And unfortunately, we didn't have an opportunity to like formally do this as a presentation to the commission to come back because timing has just not been what it is. But what we're focusing on is doing 4 events in the park. The first one focusing on Echoes of the Past, honoring the cultural and ancestral roots of the Dream Homes community and our community with the Agua Caliente Bandacuya Indians here. Sort of the targeted activities that Cynthia's come up with is in the first event working on performances with the high school folklorico dancers, the bird singers with Agua Caliente Bandacuya Indians, working on creating a memory lane with installation and display of historic photos and stories contributed from the residents, inviting reflection. She's looking at doing like an artisan market so that people can sell their wares and things like that. Having kids activities focused on, I should roll my glasses, that would help. Food vendors, having kids do artwork, etc. The other thing, when we had originally planned this, we were talking about doing murals on the walls. And as we went out for the grand opening and saw the walls and the condition they were in, I was a little bit apprehensive about painting them in these brand new walls in this great condition. So what we're proposing is doing the mural on the back of the building, like we talked about, and doing that in a 4-part theme with the themes of these events. So part of the mural being Echoes of the Past, part of it being Voices of the Present, part of it being Visions of the Future, and then part of it being Together We Heal, so that the artwork done in 4 panels with the community's involvement is the entranceway from CV Link into the parks from that side. And like I said, it's been like in the last 2 weeks that we've had to come up with this concept. And so this is what we're trying to budget for and go with. That would all be funded under the grant. The Voices of the Present would focus on, again, kind of capturing the talent and identity of Dream Homes, including local performances, spoken word artists, hopefully doing an open mic night of what hope means to me. The original application had, this was working with the Read With Me volunteers, so Erin Highland with the PACE Commission had identified a book that seemed really timely, and so working with them to do book giveaways. There's also information here about doing like mini canvas paintings, working on the second part of the mural, and other things that are kind of still being hashed out before we have to submit this on Friday. Visions of the Future, looking at doing more of like an innovation zone, showcasing STEM, arts, and career readiness programs. We're looking at doing like an interactive dream wall, like I've seen those like as big chalkboards where I dream of what are my dreams for me, for my community, things of that. Also working again with identifying and bringing in local music or dance or storytelling, along with the Scrap Gallery doing recycled themes arts with the kids. And then the 4th event being Together We Heal. Also bringing back Agua Caliente to potentially do a blessing, having tribal music and our tribal partners present at that, doing some cultural performances, doing community vendors and resources, and then also having food, and then the full unveiling of the final and full mural. So that's what we've sort of built on from the original proposal that was sort of submitted last year, and trying to, now that we have Park, try to program that. This is all still very fluid, but we needed to come up with a sort of a more solidified budget. The budget for this is going to be about $98,000 for the 4 events. That would include some of the park costs, supply costs, the artwork costs, fees for some of the artists that would be included in there. And then certainly once we get the grant submitted, if we are successful in doing that, then we will really be pulling together a committee. I'm trying to think of, was it Crystal and you, or was it, we had a subcommittee from PACE that was working on the grant application, and I'm trying to remember who it was. I thought it was you.
I don't think it was me.
Crystal was one of them.
I
but
think it was you and Crystal.
What's that?
But
we had a couple of commissioners that were working with a couple of commissioners from the PACE Commission when this was originally drafted.
Oh, it was originally drafted.
That was me and Crystal.
You and
Yes,
Crystal.
Yes, there you
Okay.
go. Yeah. 'Cause
So, and it's been difficult too, because PACE is also out for the summer.
Right.
So it's been just, okay, we have a couple of weeks. And so I know this isn't the way we want to bring this to you, but this is where we're at with the grant. And certainly if we're successful and when we get the full grant submitted, I will make sure that I get it out to the full commission. So as we hopefully are successful in getting this, and as we get into the phase of really programming this, that we have more input from the commissions on both sides and more connectivity with the community on it. Because there's also more community engagement about the murals, and also, again, trying to do a call in this phase to get a muralist to do the art. So that is sort of been rolling. The other thing, and I appreciate, and I think it was both Commissioner Travis and I think Commissioner Liebelt sent me announcement from the state about it's another sort of funding opportunity to develop and be selected as a cultural district.
Right.
And so the state is there's 6 cultural districts, I think, or 6 or 9 across the state now, or maybe it was you, Commissioner
It was
Marks.
those two.
And so I was on a call today about the program, and it's really kind of cool, and I think we would qualify pretty well for it. But the Cultural District Program aims to cultivate authentic and sustainable cultural districts that reflect the breadth and diversity of California's extensive cultural assets. The maximum request amount is $10,000 that the cities or the organizations can ask for. It requires a one-time match, and we would find $10,000 to match that. And the selection criteria for being designated a district is the diversity, capacity, and commitment of participating partners, authentic community engagement from stakeholders, an understanding and concentration of the cultural assets present, clarity and thoroughness of vision, goals, and objectives, defined leadership, anticipated impacts of the cultural district, and expected contributions to the cohort. So I guess if you are selected, you get to be part of the state cohort. We are, our economic development manager, at the same time you were sending it, he sent me this as well, so he's kind of taking the lead on it. We have to submit an application by August. And so right now what staff are doing is we're obviously focusing on our downtown area. Staff are working on mapping all of our assets. So obviously Perez Road, all of our resources here in the downtown are going to be part of that. And we have to map all of our, so we can map all of our public art that's here and everything. So staff are working on that already. It requires some partnerships and some letters of support. So we all listened to the sort of the information call today, and when we get that back, I'll send it out to all of you. And so as we progress, because it's also going to happen before you come back together. But I will keep you informed all along the way of where we're at and send you out information as we're looking at the mapping, because there might be other resources that we're just not thinking of that you all might know about. And so anything that we can do to bolster the application, because you do get to kind of be part of the state network of identified cultural areas. And certainly I think what we have here in the downtown with Perez, with CVEP, with the amphitheater, with Mary Pickford. We have included it, our working thing includes the senior center because of all the
Agnes
programming
Pelt.
that the senior center is doing. So we're actively starting to try to get that together to meet the grant deadline in August. So, but I just wanted to give you an update on that because several of you had sent me that independently and wanted to say thank you for that, because our economic development manager was really excited about, again, how do we speak about the arts and the economic benefit that they bring to the community. And so he jumped all over that and is running with it.
We got that. We really have art lives. This is where art lives, right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
That fits us.
So our quiet summer is not quiet right now. I think those were the two main things that I wanted to report on to you.
All good stuff.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
That it? Thank you so much, Ann. Okay, now the commissioners' times to report. So I'm going to start on my right with Commissioner Marks. Anything you'd care to report?
It was like, I found that like most of things, a lot of performances sort of like dropped by the middle of May, just seemed to get really quiet. So there was like not much I could attend, but I did attend one thing. It was out at the College of the Desert, which they weren't really sponsoring, but they were like providing the space. It's called the Music Theater Salons. And it's just a reading and singing of a score. And they had really good attendance, but basically it was a group of artists, well, singers and actors, and there was a director that directed. They only had like 3 days of rehearsal, but they did Kiss Me Kate. And I come to find out the Kiss Me Kate is actually the production that College of the Desert is doing next spring. So it was like an obvious segue for them to like go to it from that way. But what I really liked about it was that the guy who was like, I can't recall his name at the moment, but I do have his contact. He is like envisioning this be like a quarterly situation where it's a musical theater salon, reading of forgotten musicals. And it's just a great way to like get musicals that have gone out of style, because nowadays it's like, everything has to be lights, action, camera, blah, blah, blah. But it's an idea I really like to get behind as an individual. I'm not as a representative of the Public Arts Commission, but, it's like I'm going, hopefully I can help them, connect some dots, because I think it'd be a great thing, and it won't be at the College of the Desert. It's like just introducing people to musicals that have gone by the right wayside. San Francisco had a great group that did that, the Forgotten Music Project, and it was great, so it's something I really want to get behind. I didn't really go see anything else, but I did a lot of reflection, and especially over my first year here on the commission, and I'm just like going, most of the year has been a real challenge for me, just the beginning of the year, like trying to get up to par, and the same playing field, see how things work, what are the expectations of me, and I'm still not quite sure what the expectations of me, I think I have to like create my own expectations, but at the same time, I realized that my entire life has changed, like how I identify as an artist, and I always identified as the character tenor, and that was like, as I call it, it's my identity, but it's not working for me anymore, and I've had to change, I'm having to reinvent myself, because it's like you're only good as the audition you did that day, and like my last 3 auditions sucked, you know. So it's like I'm going, you know, I don't think it's in the cards for you anymore, Greg, and just accept that. But what can you do with that, you know? So it's like I'm going, I want to like hopefully through the commission, it's like I see myself as becoming a encourager, maybe a mentor, like on an individual, you know, basis, working with individual performers. I don't want to be a teacher. I hate teaching. I get too deep in the weeds, and I just want to help people find their way in a song and help people find their story, you know. I don't want to get into technique, you know, it drives me nuts. So I'm just putting it out there that I want to be a cheerleader, you know, and it's like, but also working with organizations that I'm getting introduced through the commission. It's like, I'm going to put it out there. I want to be a champion, you know. So I kind of see my commissioning work as being a champion for Cathedral City artists, you know. And that's kind of my focus over this next year, hopefully.
Great, and thank you. We appreciate having you this year with us.
I'm sorry, what?
We appreciate you being here with us this year and your insight and that the musical theater, that whole musical background that you bring. It's a great dimension that it adds to this commission. So we
Thanks.
appreciate
Yeah,
you being here.
I'll have better hearing aids in the fall, so
And I think the first year is always the same with me. You kind of figure things out and how it works, and you kind of get your sea legs, and then you start developing from there. So I think it just gets better. Gets better. Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Stouter, what have you got to report?
Well, it was a busy month. I'll leave it to Vice Chair Travis to talk about the really successful, I was jealous, library sale. A lot of people did very well. I just want to take my time to do a really quick update on the Art in the Amphitheater project. We had a really good meeting with officials from the city, Vice Chair Travis and myself and Ann and Adam and Ryan, and a representative of the district recreational.
Cynthia?
Cynthia. What's their proper name?
Cynthia Marcacho?
And it is the Desert Recreation District, right?
Yeah, so Cynthia is, she is the community services supervisor for the DRD. And as I keep saying Palmdale today, as Cathedral City is joining the district, Cynthia is going to be our main supervisor that is going to be in charge of doing all that programming in our community. So, you know, the part-time staff that do different events, or, you know, the contract instructors that she's trying to bring forth, she's the person that's going to lead all that in our community to start us off right.
So one of the things, several things came out of the meeting, and I just want to broad brush it. I don't want to make this a report, but we will be ready to come to this commission and ask for your support and a budget number at our September meeting. So you can look forward to that. We'll be working on putting that together over the summer. One of the things of interest, several of the things of interest that came out of the meeting was that the District Recreation District will take care, for example, of a children's play area, children's art area during the event. I think as a group, we also came to consensus that whatever it is that happens on stage should really be more along the lines of background entertainment, background music, rather than anything primary, so we don't actually try to fight with two events going on at the same time. And we'll budget money to pay people to be entertainers for that. I think our budget number, we're going to shoot for somewhere in the vicinity of $5,000. That would be half our commission's annual discretionary budget. All these details, as I said, we'll put together for you in a more formal report, and then ask for your blessing and your vote at our September meeting. After that, it'll go to City Council. And after it goes to City Council, we get their approval, then our group will meet again to solidify more of the plans moving forward. The date is the last Saturday of March 2026. And that's probably all I need to say about that right now. I'll miss you all in July and August, but at least Vice Chair Travis and I will be doing an exhibition together called Celebrating Stonewall, and that'll be on the 27th of June at the Desert Art Women Gallery in the Perez Art District. It's also going to be a wine tasting with Monte d'Oro Winery, which I have some familiarity with,
Okay, you have me there.
and so you don't want to miss that. And
What time is that at?
it'll be from 4 to 7.
4 to 7? Okay, good.
And let me just see, look on my calendar if there was anything else I wanted to shill for. That's about it. The summer is going to continue to be a working one, at least for me. We have this show in June, and then I'm going to be at the Baumbaugh Gallery in July and August for a photography show, August and the early September for a photography show. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairperson.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for the update on the art show. Commissioner Travis.
Oh, okay. First of all, before I get going on my little report, I just wanted to put it out on the airwaves that we're going to really miss Crystal. I know she's not here today, but she's been such a lovely person to work with.
Ditto, ditto.
Yeah, and I think we're all going to miss her. I just am excited to watch her grow because I think there's going to be nothing but good things happening for her because she's such a dynamic lady, and I'm already impressed with all the things that she does already. So I just wish her the very best, and sorry that she's not here tonight, but certainly understand the drive situation.
She just didn't want to be crying with the rest of us because she was leaving.
So anyways, that's why I want to get that out there. Okay.
Wholeheartedly agree.
So the actual art exhibit was in a couple weeks ago, and it went really well. We actually added a component of a opening on Friday night, and I think it was good. We had over 30 attendees. Commissioner Souter donated some wonderful wine, for it, and we had some, small snacks and that. But it was really nice. I think people really appreciated it. We had a really good group of artists. We did have one artist that fell out because he got sick and was hospitalized. So unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it. But all the other remaining artists did well. Everybody sold, and I think that it was pretty good. We had like 68 on Saturday, and for some reason Sunday was really good. It was over 75.
For a holiday weekend, that was especially good.
And that was a Memorial Day weekend. You're right. Yeah. And we'll try not to do that again because I think that would have been a little bit better there. But I think that it was really good. I think I would like to do the reception again, if that's okay. But we'll have to ask for some funding.
Yeah, we'll have to get some.
It's not much. It's not much. Okay.
Well, and just I think, is there one more left for the fiscal year? Or no?
There's two more. There's two more.
Before June. So we'll just have to do a budget request for what you want for next fiscal. The fiscal year starts July 1.
Okay.
So
that's
out of
good.
your
That's good
$10,000 for next year, we'll just need to come up with a budget for that.
Okay. I gotcha. Okay. Got you.
Next one's in August.
Yeah, next
Yep.
one's in August, and then the last one is in November. Yeah, so anyway, so that's good. The August one's already booked. I have some people I have to review that just sent in their applications, and I'm confident that I have November all booked too. So we'll have 28 different artists for the year.
And I think one of the things too is you look into next year, and if you do that again, if you're getting towards the middle of the year or some of your artists fall out, if we need to do another call just to publicly let artists know that they have an opportunity to.
Well, we do have that built in, so we have a date for each one, so in case it does fall out, so we've already kind of got that built in.
But if you need us to promote it or put it back up on social media to try to get
exactly.
people to.
And what's interesting is I've been showing a lot this year. Luckily, it's working out really well, but I've been running into all our artists from the benches to the, so it's kind of neat to get to know them even better. We do have it's really good camaraderie with all the artists, and that's kind of nice. And I think that our future things will be great too. The other thing what I wanted to do is a shout out to Ryan, Adam, I'm going to get these guys. The photographer, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
And then his partner. God, I blinked on his name. I'm so sorry. But they were great on publicizing everything. They did a new flyer. Since we have all new artists each time, having a new flyer, I think, is very helpful. They put it on the electronic bulletin boards. Conrad Angel, yeah, he came out and did a little blurb. It was awesome. And he interviewed all the artists. So, I mean, I think all that adds up, and so I just thank the city for all their support. I mean, it was, everybody's always been nice, but this one was particularly nice. So thank you. And I'm saying thank you so that they'll do it again.
I will gladly pass it. Well, and I think I can speak for the staff. What they've really appreciated is all of you really working with them and understanding their timeframes too. So you asked for things earlier. The work that you're doing to prepare for an event next year is just so vital to have staff be able to be available to help you because it is a staff of two. And the more time that they have to be able to respond to requests or to help plan for an event is really appreciated. And so I'm just wanted to say thank you for being considerate of that and giving staff the opportunity to really support you in what you're trying to accomplish.
Well, they're all really nice, and it's really easy. And I do realize that you're limited on your staff. So, like, anything, and also anytime the staff wants me to do something to assist, let me know. I can do that too. So that's what's going on there. We're going to have the show with Don. I'll be showing at the Tool Shed on Sunday. It's weird. I don't know. We'll see how this works out. I'm going to be showing every third Sunday during the summer, which is really hot, but we'll see how it goes. We're going to see.
There's rumors of that here in the desert, yes.
Misters and all this stuff like that, and I've tested it with my yard. It works out, so we'll see how it goes.
Art and Mister, that makes me a little nervous.
Well, yeah.
Only if it's watercolors. Only if it's watercolor and not
watercolor and photographs.
right. Yeah, those are the ones.
Exactly. But anyway, so I got that. Well, I'll let you know how that works out later on. But
Oh,
anyways,
yeah, please.
It's been really great. I think we've had an exceedingly excellent year. I mean, we did the grants, and then we're doing the grants again. I mean, that's big. I mean, wasn't it fun to see the senior center do 7 events, and all we had to do was fund them? it was like awesome.
What I'm going to try to put together for your when you come back in September and when you have your new commissioner is sort of a year in review. And I think I have the information of your art events, but I'd like to be able to kind of showcase how many people have participated in the events, how many people have participated in the grant-funded events, and again, also be able to do that presentation to the commission, but also be able to report that back to the council, because I think we're overdue to kind of give them an update on what the commission's been up to, and you have accomplished a lot in this past year. And
the bench project, I mean, Craig and Crystal did an outstanding job on that, and
the quarterly art exhibits, the
all
grants.
Those artists are with us now, and that's great, and then getting the donation. I mean, and then also the Baroni exhibit. I mean, we did a lot.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun. So I think that, and I appreciate Commissioner Marks' all his input on the live music, and that's really good. It adds to it with the photography from Don is also really great. So I think we have a good team. So we're looking forward to hopefully we'll get another addition this year. Good addition. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And like you, mine, it's, I wish things I could say that things have completely quieted down, but as usual, I'm always up to some mischief along the way. But I agree. This has been well, first of all, I'm going to really miss Commissioner Mojica. She and I worked on several things together, and her inner beauty and vision and insight and heart, and it's always just been great to talk with her and work with her on different projects and just see things from her. I'm going to say her crystal clear, her name is perfect because her crystal clear vision about that, about keeping things real and heart-centered. So I'm going to really miss her and appreciate all of her hard work for everything that she's done and always putting in the effort to be here when it's been challenging sometimes. And also the entire commission, like everybody, the diversity that it brings. And I'm really proud of us too, because I think we had a very, very productive year. And I think it takes everybody to participate. And the community participation from the senior center and the library and the amphitheater and everything. And in this time of a lot of chaos out there, I always think we come home to Cathedral City because we're still all about community and all aspects of this community, and we provide for every aspect of this community. So I'm proud to be a part of that and know that we stand for that kind of diversity. And we do it through the arts, that's for everybody. It's not this group or that group. There's different aspects of it, but it's for everybody. So proud in continuing that. The one thing I've tried to make it to as many things as I could. And also trying to really partner with the Perez Art District and getting to know the gallery owners there more. And what I'm asking of them is they participate more with us. I'm asking them that we have these monthly meetings. They're all welcome to be here and come and listen and bring ideas and put in input. It's like, if you want something from the city, this is the forum and this is the place to show up and speak your voice and be part of it. Don't just, and one of the gallery owners, we were talking about this, and he was asking about murals over on those buildings. I said, my understanding is those are privately owned. The owner can do murals, and they can all do whatever they want to, and it would be fantastic. So I want to keep supporting that conversation, to have even the back facing here. My back project is to do something with the walk from here over to Cathedral City to the Perez Art District. I'm very happy with all the things that we've done, and unfortunately for all of you, that just inspires me to see how much more we can do, because I think we've just started, and with the success of that and the responses that we're getting for the art shows, for musical, all the things it's like everything that we're doing, and that just inspires me to want to do more, and like, how far can we take this? And with that was last year's grant proposals. Now we'll see what, this year's grant proposals, and with what the city's planning for the concert series, and then adding more to that. And I just think that I'm just really grateful to be part of this community, because there's so many, like I said, fantastic things happening here that we can support each other. So Crystal, we are going to miss you, and Ms. Deanna Hopkins, we're sure going to miss you too, and your fabulous face and support for everything that we've done. So on that note, I think we're going to bring this meeting. Yep, Deanna Hopkins.
And just a reminder, that one thing I forgot to mention, that the City Council will be hearing the item to approve your grant applications on June 25th. I will not be at that meeting because I will be on vacation that week, but Kevin Biersack, our finance director, is going to be presenting it.
And I'm going to go. I'm going to go to that meeting, yeah.
That would be great.
Yep, Commissioner Travis and our plan, we're going to be there in case there's any questions, of course. Yep. Anything else from anybody before? And I'm going to miss y'all this summer, but I think that we can talk about musical stuff for that art show next year. Yep, if you're around. And so you guys are going to be planning that.
We want to close in someone's honor.
And I think closing the meeting in Deanne Hoping's honor for a life well lived, for being such a wonderful contributor to this Arts Commission, to arts in our community, and just a really wonderful human being.
Yes. Yep, angels on your pillows, for sure. And with that, I think this meeting is adjourned.